Hello fellow audio nerds, I'm Steph and this is Major Hi-Fi. Back in 2012, Fostex released their flagship audiophile headphone, the TH900. Now since then, they've developed the Mark II, the second version of the TH900, and they've also been releasing these limited edition colors. There's only about 100 of them in the US being sold. So I'm sort of excited to talk about this. Now last year, they released the Emerald Green, which was this like really deep, bright green that was just really stunning. Now the new release of the new limited edition color, which is Sapphire Blue, reminded me of these headphones because they're actually really, really awesome. I remember the first time I listened to them about a year ago, I'd say, and I was super, super impressed with them. So I'm excited to sort of dive in a little deeper and tell you what's so special about these things. Why are they coming out with these limited edition colors rather than changing the design or something of the actual headphone? Both the headband and the ear cups are coated in leather. It's made from eggshell membranes. So it's this sort of protein leather, they call it. It's really, really soft. The padding on both the ear cups and the headband, it's not like ridiculously thick, like an Odyssey or something like that. It's just like kind of, it's got body to it and it's got a little bit of firmness, but it's still really soft. The most striking part of these headphones, the ear cups, this is made with a Japanese cherry birch wood. Now, it's also has this special lacquer on it. It's this Japanese method called Urushi lacquer, and it's just this really stunning, super shiny and beautiful. But, you know, when you look at these, you might think they're like remarkably heavy, but they're really not. They sort of are, you know, comfortable weight. There is weight to them, but it's not too much. It doesn't really hurt your neck. The rest of the frame is made of what seems to be aluminum, so it feels really quite strong, but also pretty light. It's not gonna break your neck, I guess. The audiophiles in the room will be happy to know that the connectors on the cable are gold-plated. It's a 6.3 millimeter connector, and the cable is awesome. It's this high-quality OFC cable. A quick tangent on OFC cables. OFC, which stands for oxygen-free copper, is, you know, its use in the audiophile products and in the audiophile world is controversial to scientists. Some electrical engineers say, look, the use of these cables is a marketing scheme. If you're to measure the conductance and the impedance, it's the exact same as just common copper. Fair enough. Now, other electrical engineers say, well, conductance, impedance, those aren't the things that make these cables great. The thing that makes these cables great is their ability to deliver phase linearity. In other words, they can deliver all of these frequencies at the same time. And as a result, you know, these scientists say that, you know, you experience a wider sound stage, kind of a clearer, transient sort of response. Now, in my humble opinion, I'm not a scientist like that, but just to my ears, I feel that all the OFC cables that I've experienced in my time listening to headphones those headphones have had a better soundstage than some others. Now, take that as you will, I suppose, and also just know that everybody's level of sensitivity when listening is different. Even if you don't hear something, or you do hear something, kind of stepping on somebody else's experience of it is, you know, there's just no way for you to know what that person is experiencing. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm gonna slowly tiptoe backwards away from this topic of OFC cables. So as for the soundstage of these headphones, the reason that I'm jumping right into the sound stage of these headphones is that it's quite remarkable, especially for a closed-back headphone. They have a really impressive sense of spatial depth and width, And that sort of creates this great separation between different instruments. And you kind of experience this nice sense of separation in the top to bottom imaging as well. You can really sort of get a sense of this when listening to especially mid-range heavy instruments. And the reason I say that, these headphones sort of have a smiley face curve to them. So with mid-range heavy instruments, you really sort of get this sense of like backward and forward, this sense of real depth. The low frequencies of these headphones are awesome. They're super quick and dynamic. They have a real sense of extension and subbiness, and that makes it awesome for listening to pop, hip-hop, EDM, that kind of stuff. Stuff that wants like a really nice, big, but clear bass. So for example, I was listening to Lord's song, The Louvre, and there's this sort of big subby synth bed thing that's sort of underneath everything at one point in the song, and that really creates this awesome sense of like hugeness from it. But because of like the subby energy and this sort of separation and quickness, like I said, it doesn't step on the other layers of low, mid, rich synths. So you really get the sense of nice thickness, and there's also a lot of space for the vocal and everything. I was also really impressed. I was listening to Biggie's song, Machine Gun Funk. Now, the bass in that track has a lot of, it's really kind of a deep, deep bass guitar. And the reason why it was so important and so well done with these headphones is that I noticed in some other headphones, sort of the pitch of that bass gets sort of lost because it's so low, and it just requires this sort of like accuracy and that you don't necessarily get. But with these headphones, I could really get all of the pitches of this bass. Sounded like so great, so perfect for what it was, and it really enhanced the amount of energy that the bass gave to the track, because it wasn't clouding things up, but it was really adding emotional energy to the tune. The middle frequencies on these headphones are scooped, sort of like I said, so they're a little bit quieter than other headphones. Now, for music that really needs a flat mid-range, like classical and jazz, you might not enjoy these headphones so much. But if you're listening to something with more of synthesized instruments, or even like big, heavy electric guitars, I think you might find these work quite well. Now, the reason I say that with the electric guitars is that because of the energy in the low mids, even though the mid-range is a bit scooped, those low mids can really hold a lot of the energy of those electric guitars, so they don't feel like tinny or small. They still feel really, really big, even though the mid-range is kind of scooped. For example, Weezer's song Get You has this sort of like punchy but also high mid-ish kick drum with this kind of low mid rich bass guitar going on during the tune. And there are these really wide electric guitars. Now, these sort of the low mids of these electric guitars blend a little bit with the bass, but it's not in a bad way. It's in a really powerful and like awesome, like you just kind of want to rock out to it sort of way. However, there's just about as much emotional energy in the high mids, which sort of can sometimes come across as a little bit spiky. You hear it both in the high mids and in the highs. So certain songs sound just really clear and really good. Certain songs sound a little bit harsh. For example, I was listening to a song by Amos Lee called One Lonely Light, and I thought that song was a good example of the energy in the high mids working with the song. The mandolins and everything sound really gorgeous and clear, and his voice sits a little bit higher in the mix than it does in other tunes. Compare that with some of, John Coltrane, which, sometimes that saxophone gets a little bit ouchy. It doesn't work quite as well, and it actually can be a little bit harsh. So I think like the biggest thing with these headphones, especially when it comes to the mid-range, is listening to genres that work really well with it. The high frequencies, like the low frequencies, are nice and extended. And as a result of all of this energy and the highs, it really contributes a lot to the width and to the height of these headphones in the soundstage. I was listening to Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and the synthesizer sounds so airy. They really sound like so high in the soundstage, and also super wide and just really shimmery. Likewise, you could really hear all the details of the gated reverbs on the voices in that tune, and so it really you could really hear the real quickness, especially in those high frequencies with these headphones. In conclusion, these headphones are awesome. They have an incredible sound stage, and they're especially great with pop, hip-hop, electronic music, synthesized instruments. Really sound awesome with these headphones. But they do have a smiley-faced curve, so just be prepared for that. And be sure to check out the sapphire blue version. The red ones are really pretty and beautiful, but the blue ones are really cool too and super exclusive. There's only 100 in the US, so keep an eye out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes and reviews. We're going to be experimenting a little bit with the format of these videos, so be sure to leave us some comments and let you know what you think about it. All right, everybody, thanks. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.